Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. It's a marathon build today, and the reason for that is because I'm actually finishing a model. Today I'm going to be doing pack 12 of the Agora models release, a build the Ferrari 250 GTO. Whoa, there was a lot to do in this, and this, I have to admit, is probably one of the hardest models to piece together, and you're going to see that in stage 95. Also, I'm not going to be doing the NART decal scheme. I'm just keeping it as plain. Other than that, though, very much enjoyed this build. Car looks amazing at the end, and with a modification that I do, and you're going to see that as well. I think that's in stage 96. You'll see how it makes things a little bit easier for operating all the electrics. But I really do hope you like this, so check this out. So we're going to start this final pack on stage 91 with some of the components for the exhaust here. Let's get all these open. And basically we're going to be piecing these parts together just like this. This one's going to go in here like that. And then this larger one here will be going in just like that there. I want to close that off by putting this side on top. I'll pinch all of that together, making a complete exhaust piece there. And then in this bag here, I've got type M screws. That's going to hold this together. So one there and one on the other side. And then on this end here, we've got these mufflers to put on, which have got a D-shaped pattern, so they can only go on one way. So one there and one there. So they're in just like that. I'm going to be putting these cables just to one side because I need to bring the car over now. So I'm going to put my mat down. And here is the car that we are working on. Let me just turn this over. And now with this tape, which I kept these cables in, I now need to join up all of these rear cables in the car. Just line it up a bit more in the center so that they're going to meet in the middle. So to this side and to this side. So just get them all together. And I'll put some tape around these sections here. That's excellent. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Stage 92 seems to be quite a big stage because we're going to be doing the other exhaust here, but we're also going to be piecing the chassis to that bodywork and internal floor pan you saw there. So this is going to be quite an in-depth stage. So just like we did last time, I'm going to be putting this into that side there. And then this one will be going into the other side just like that. And it's pieced together with this top section here, which goes on that way. And then once again, I'm holding that in with the M screws. Once again, I'm going to be putting these mufflers on. So they're on just like that. Bring over the chassis looking like this here. And what I'm going to be doing is attaching this speaker cable here to this left wing. Now I have got two clips for that. A little bit fiddly, but I'll get the clips in. And there you go. That's those clips in place there. In this bag, I've got some pipes, but I've also got an elastic band here. Now that elastic band is going over this gear stick here. So I need to put that over the top of this. And I'm going to be sliding it down the gear stick. So I'm probably going to need tweezers just to help to stretch this. And there we go. That's in place just like that. Now, put that to one side. And I'm going to bring over this main body again. And I'm looking at these fire extinguishers here. I need to put two pipes onto these. Now I have dropped some glue just over the top of them because I don't want these pipes coming out. And I'm just going to feed these into the top. That's one there. And one there. So they're both in place. And now we're ready to fit the chassis to the body. So to that end, bring up my mat. I'm going to put the body down first. Now I am just going to keep all of these wires together now. Look, I'm making it like a wiring loom there. Okay, I'm going to be putting this on top, ensuring that I'm not going to be trapping any wires, but I do want to make sure that the wires are coming out towards the back, but I'm not impeding where the gear stick's going to go. So I'm going to push that in there, just like that. I'm going to move the wires from the gear stick so that can go nice and in there flush. That looks good. Get that into position. Now this, before I put it down, this speaker cable here needs to go with all the other cables as well. So I'm just going to be running that down from the top so it can come out with all the other cables here. So I'm going to need type B screws into the holes here, and I'm going to need type C screws into the holes here. Now I've just noticed that on my model, I don't know if it's the same as yours, that I already have some screws in these holes here. So I'm just going to take them out and put them back in again, rather than using the C screws that they wanted me to put in there. I already had a C screw in here, which is connecting it basically to this door panel here. Is it the same? It's the same on the other side as well. Look, I've already got screws in there. Let me take that out. This is a C screw that I've got in here, so I can push that down just like that and re-put that in there. There you go. So that's the C screws in. So if you were anything like me, I already had C screws in there. I took them out, put those back in. I've got two B screws to put in. They're going into the middle sections here. So one there and one here. So that chassis is now pretty much connected to the car just on that side. Turn it over, and I'm going to want to be putting type B screws just into the holes here and on the other side. So I'm going to fit the right tie rod first, which looks like this. It's going to go through the hole just at the top here, and it connects to the firewall just at the back. So thread it through, bring it round and connect it to the hole at the back. And then this section just clips into the clips just at the side here. Just like that. We're going to do the same on the other side with the left hand side one. So through the hole there. This one's sort of an angle so you can see how this is different from the one on the other side. Put this into the hole just at the back here, and again clip this into the side. Perfect, that's those two in. And then do you remember I told you to keep that part safe for the steering, because we're going to be linking it together? I put mine on tape here. Look, I've got the screws and I've got the piece here to link the steering together. Now obviously the steering, we've got the steering wheel here, and I've got the bit that we passed through, which I'm going to need to connect together. I don't know if I'm going to film this. I'm going to get it in. This is going to be fiddly. Historically, when I've had to do this, it's been one of the hardest things to do on the build. But let's see how this goes. So by the look of this, the easiest way to do this is to take this out if you put it back in again, so you can get your finger under there. I'm pushing that up with my finger, so it's already engaged in there. Then I'm going to need to put the top on, and then I need to secure it down with a K screw. And there we go, the steering is actually connected. So when I actually turn this now, as you can see, the steering wheel moves. Oh, okay. So these ignition coil leads now are going to be going into the middle sections of the distributors there. So on that side, just do the one on this side. Perfect, so they're in place. And then do you remember we had this rod here? We're going to be connecting the firewall to the steering box. So that's going to go between these 2 points here. So one in the hole here, and then the top will connect into this section just here. like that. Perfect. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That was really tough, but I am just going to be putting this bit back in again now, the manifold. Excellent, and that's back in place. Oh, that was a fun stage. Okay, let's put that to one side. I'm going to do stages 93 and 94 together because it's all about the rear brakes. So let me just get all of this out. Got some little hubs here, put them to one side. Okay, what we're going to do first, we're going to take some of this double-sided tape here and pin this to the discs. Now it's going to go to the free side here, the one that's metallic. Once I've got that in place, I can peel the adhesive off this side, which leaves the adhesive there, and put these on the discs this way round, like that. And then when they're on, just like that, I can peel off this blue protective material. And there we go. That's one of the discs completed. Do the same on the other side. Excellent. So that's 2 brake discs completed. Just keep them to one side because I need to bring over the car again now. And I want to take 2 parts of the caliper here, which are labelled L. So I've got 1 and 2. So we've got 2 little lugs at the back there, which are going to go into those 2 holes. So just push that into place, probably best on the top camera. Just like that. Take one of the brake discs and then close it off by putting the other side of the caliper on here. Perfect. So that's in place and it's still able to move, as you can see. Now to keep that into place, we have this little bracket, and I want to put this in this way round into the 2 holes at the bottom here. That was surprisingly hard to get in there. As you can see, that's in place there. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So we're going to do the same on the other side, but we do have a little bit extra to do on here. So we've already made the disc. Let me just turn this around. Once again, just put the calipers in place here. This time I'm doing it upside down. Put the brake disc on. Close off the other side here. Once again, just put this little bracket in, which holds everything together. So that's the back ones done. If I just put it on its side there, we're going to be working on the front ones now. And I've got the left calipers in this bag, and that's just going to go onto this section here like that. And that's going to be held in with a type C screw. So just putting that in there, just making the steering turn. Perfect. Now once again, we need to do exactly the same thing with the discs that we did last time. Which means putting these on. So we've got a disc like that. Once again, put that on here. Close that off by putting the other side of the caliper on, which just goes on like that there. And then similar to what we've done on one side, I've got this bracket to put on. Which just goes in like that. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. And there you go. Once the front ones are done, that's all there is to do in that stage. So we do have these clips left over, and as I said, we've got these hubs here as well. Now, big box in stage 95, we've got the windscreen. We're almost there now by the look of it. Okay, we should have some type B screws as well, and also the type C screws. We've got a lot of double-sided tape here that we're going to be putting onto the inside of this windscreen now. So I guess it's just a case of now taking your time and working through this. There you go. Now I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to this, but I'll put them in where I think they can go. I'm just going to peel off all the backing. Then I want to take the windscreen and remove the protective coating from both sides of this. So That's one side, and that's the other side there. And I put this into place on the inside here. There you go. I'm trying not to touch the main windscreen, but there you go. Perfect. And when we're happy with that, we're going to be using these strips again along the inside once again, but this time they're going just along these edges at the top here. Take the adhesive off again and then bring over the car. I'm just going to be putting this into place. I think I'll put the bottoms in first. And then the tops here. There you go. That's in place. Perfect. Now they want me to put an S sticker on the speaker cable, which I've just pulled out the side here. It's this one here. So that's how I can identify that. Now this is where you'd put decals on the car if you want to make it the NART version of it, which I don't intend to do. So just polishing this up a little bit. So I'm going to not do that part, but the instructions to do that are in the instructions on the Agora Models website. So this is a stage and a half now, isn't it? Because we're about to fit the main front of the car in now. So this is what that looks like, but I do need to open this bonnet just like that. Make sure the wires are either side, and I'm going to be pushing this or sliding this over the top here. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. Making sure the wires are in place there. You do want to lift this up because we want to feed this front end into the car here. Ensuring the chassis is going in on either side. Okay, that looks good. Now before I push it in, I am just going to feed the wires through the chassis at the bottom here, so they're not going to get trapped. I'll be doing that both sides. Okay, that's looking good. Now, what I'm going to do is put my hand under the chassis to lift up this front section, like that. That should help me to actually start guiding this into position here. I'm actually using gravity to help me. It does help if you push it out at the sides, like this, when we put this down. Oh my God, I'm out of breath. That was hard. Now, the reason why this has got a plastic chassis on it is because you will have to bend this at the front to actually guide in the radiator, and I used my full weight to get that on there, to get that in. I'm out of breath. Okay, just going to turn this upside down because I'm going to start securing this first off on each side here with C screws. So it's just a case of lining this up. Bit of oil, get a C screw in here. I'm glad I fed these cables around here, otherwise I think I'll be having a nightmare trying to get them in at the moment. So now that's all in, we just need to run these cables round where the others are now. So I'm just going to be putting these underneath this floor pan on both sides, so they're going to come out the bottom as well. They do want us to clip them in to the sides here, but you'd still see the cables, so I'm not doing that. I'm going to keep them as I've got them with just some insulating tape, because you're never going to see that, but I will thread all of these wires through. God, even this wasn't easy. I think as piecing cars together goes, this is probably one of the hardest ones to do. And I still haven't got it 100% right. This side's perfect, but this side, you see, I've got this little bit here, which I'm going to have to try and sort out. There's this tiny gap there. So do need to get on that. But that is all the cables now out of the rear of the car there. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That is a crazy stage. Okay, in stage 96, I'm going to do things slightly different because I have made my own modification to the Ferrari 250 GTO when it comes to the electrics. Now, I can't get my fingers inside the door and I don't really want to be using a tweezer to get them in. So to that end, you put all the cables in, just like the picture you see on the top left of the screen there. And then you attach this down with 2 screws. I haven't put those screws in yet. But what I've done on mine, you can probably see, I've drilled some holes and I put some micro switches in here. So rather than use the switches that are actually coming down all of these cables here, I've basically just wired my own switches up at the back. So now I can operate everything from the switches at the back. And I'm going to demonstrate that to you now. So one of the problems on this car is to operate every switch. Once we turn it on, and we were supposed to put the key in that little section there. Obviously, I bypass that now. But as soon as that key's in, the engine's going to come on. So let me turn the car on. And you can hear the engine's on. But now I can operate everything with switches. So first one is the accelerator. You can hear that? Okay, second one is the horn. Third one, which I'm round the back here, is the brake lights. Then I've got the headlights, which they're not flashing. I think that's just because of the frame rate of the camera. You see the headlights are on. And then indicators, which come on both sides there. And also at the front. So the good news is all the electrics work. Just a slight little modification there. I hope you like that. I'm going to continue now with stage 96. So bringing the car over again, we're going to be installing the exhausts that we made. And basically they're going to be clipping into the holes here and here. And then the shafts here will be going on this side. And onto this side just down here with the holes there. So let's get these in. One that side, and then that side there. So both the exhausts are in. Turn that over and put this to one side. And I finally get to open stage 96. Now in here we've got the rear view window. We're going to do exactly like we did for the front one. So I need to, first off, remove the protective film from both sides of this acrylic here. Just like this. And the other side there. An air intake cover here, which has got some little lugs, which are going to be going into the holes, just onto, you can probably, hopefully, there you go, you see it in the light there, into there. So when that's in, it looks like that. And then once again, I'm going to be putting these strips onto the inside of the window. So, once they're all in, just take off the adhesive backing and then put the window in, ensuring that the vent here is facing outwards. So I'm just gently going around the edge of this to ensure that that's inside this frame here. There we go. Perfect. And there we go. That's the window created. Right, we get to put this in the car. And we're just going to be lining up the lugs here with the holes just here. Now when you put that in, you just have to be methodical and just go around taking your time doing all of these lugs into one place. But as you can see, that's in. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 97, we've got the Ferrari badge and we've got some windscreen wipers. So let's just get all of this open. What I'm going to do is just remove this thin strip of adhesive tape just from the back in here. And just put this at the front grille of the car here. Perfect. And I'm going to be sticking this Ferrari emblem to the front here. Making sure it's facing the right way there, but that's on. Then I want to take these small adhesive film here, and I need to remove the tape from these. It's like a little bit of foam, this is, and it's going to cushion the wheels when we put these on. And probably best on the top camera there, I'm putting this round just the rim there. Get my tweezers to help me. Of the rear brake. Just like that. Then I need one of the rear wheels. The rear wheels are bigger than the front ones. Just move that out the way for a second. And get that on here. Making sure it's on the right way. It goes on this way. And I'm going to be screwing that in with one of these type D screws. And there we go. That's the first wheel on. Just put that to one side. And now I want to take one of the front wheels here. And again, take a sticker. Remove this, but this time I want the larger of the rings. And that's going to be going around this edge here. It's going to hide all of those spokes, or the spoke ends, so it looks like that. Peel this off. And once again, put this on the front of the car this time. But this time it's held in with a J screw. That was almost confusing then. Nice and tight. There we go, and that's the second wheel in. What I'm going to do then is just repeat that for the other side. And there you go, that's all the wheels on the car. We do have some little parts here left over, which we'll put in afterwards. Let's just put that and the windscreen wipers to one side, because that's the end of that stage. In stage 98, we have got the front panel here, looking like this. And we've also got some sticky parts again, and we've also got some little tiny, are these spares? Bolts here? We'll find out in a second. First thing I need though are all the hubs that we had from last time. So we've got the two left and the two right ones. And there's a magnet that fits them, you see. So basically they just sit on like that. Do the rest for all the other hubs. Now we're going to be putting in the windscreen wipers. So I've got the left one here. They want us to put some strips just in the inside. I don't know if I need to do that. Let me just have a check at how this fits. The strips are just going to stop it moving on the window, but it holds itself in fine there. So I'm not going to put the strips on. But that's the left one. Just put the right one in. But that's the windscreen wipers in there, as you can see. And again, we've got some parts left over, including this pan here, which I guess we're putting in afterwards, because that's the end of that stage. I'm just going to get this base panel out now, because we need this one, and I also need the stage 99 base panel as well. So I've got that one there. I do believe these are spare if you've lost any earlier on, so that's quite a handy thing to have. So as you see, we've got these two bottom panels now, but I'm just going to put that to one side, bring the car over, and then I've got the fuel cap that I'm going to be putting on, which looks like this. This one came in stage 97. And just clip that onto there like that. I need to put my mat down now, because I need to turn the vehicle over here. And just at these sections at the front, I've got a couple of small components to go in there. They look like this, and they just go into the lugs here. So one that side, and one that side. Push them in. Turn it over again. And I want to open the bonnet now, which means moving these over here, because I'm going to be putting some bonnet mounts just underneath this section here. Now these are held on again with some double-sided tape, so it's actually going to go on just this side of that washer there, just like that. Do exactly the same on the other side. There you go, they're both in there. Take a look at that engine, because I'm now going to close the bonnet. And that's the end of that stage, which means the final stage, I believe, is going to be to put in the floor pans. So let me just put the car to one side, and I now want to remove this blue protective film here. We've got this one here, and then finally, in stage 100, we've got some decals, which I won't be using the decals. I will be using the Ferrari emblems in here though. Just put them to one side and get this piece out as well. Once again, remove the blue protective film. And I want this panel here. And I want this panel just over here. And I need to take off one of these adhesive strips and put this along the edge here. And I'm matching up the holes to put these into place here. Just like that. So that's two parts together. I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing on this back section here. So once again, two strips, one here and one here. Take the adhesive off and match up the holes again and put that one in. So as you can see, I've now got one whole floor pan. Now by the look of it, this floor pan is attached by adhesive as well. So I'm going to be putting some strips down this edge and this edge here, a long one at the back, shorter one at the front. And then before I put this in place, I'm just going to bring over the car. And it's going to need to be upside down, so I will put my mat down. I also need to put some strips just onto these sections here. Now, take the adhesive off these. And the ones we put on the floor tray. And then I want to line this up with all of these parts here, making sure that the front fits underneath this section here. And I think that looks like it's in pretty good. So just pushing down where it needs to be stuck. And then that's why we've got these now. And it's also why we've got these round stickers in here. Because what I'm going to do is over these holes, put one of these adhesive stickers. And you can see how easy it is to drop those things then. And drop in one of these bolts. So it looks just like that. Guess what? We've got to do that for every hole that we can see on the top there. I don't know if you can see that actually, but it is going to be a fiddly job. So let me get on with that. Now, if I was doing this again, I would have probably put these on before I put this on the car, to be honest with you. So I've done all of these here at the moment. Now, the ones at the front, I do think that this floor pan's meant to go on top here, but what I've done is I've put it underneath because it sits better, and then I'm going to be putting studs just into these ones here. Now we are left again with some more decals. Should we be using that colour scheme, but I'm not going to be using that. But believe it or not, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. That's all there is to do in that build. So another build complete. And you're thinking, Wayne, why aren't you going to show us the Ferrari? Well, it's sitting behind me there. It's time for the beauty shots. And there you go, another build comes to the end. Now, if you did want to do that mod that I did with the switches, just to help you out, I've got a list here, just to let you know what each pin of the board does. Pin 11 is the indicator switch, pin 13 is the headlight switch, pin 12 is the ignition key, 7, 8, 5 and 4 are the bulbs for the indicators, 6 is the speaker, 15 is the accelerator switch, 1 is the horn, 16 is the brake, and 2 and 3 are the headlights. So hopefully that's helped you out if you want to do that. It's just a lot easier to control. Hopefully you heard some of the engine noises while I was doing that beauty shots there, and I did try to show you all the lights working, but you did see that earlier on in the build as well. But there you go. If you do want to get this for yourself, you can get this for Agora models. I'll put the link in the video description, and there's also that QR code on the screen. But I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.